If you call out to one of the dead, all of them can hear you.
Through the tulips with me.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time you've done a film that's involving paranormal ghosts and ghouls and alternate universes, right?
It is, yeah.
It's hard to believe because you've been acting for decades. What made you all of a sudden decide that Insidious is going to be the thing to check off for the horror genre?
I'm so happy it turned out this way. You know, in all honesty, nobody really ever called me for the horror movie before this. And horror movies were different, you know, a couple years ago, certainly 10 and 20 years ago. They didn't have the same kind of placement in our culture. We've all watched horror movies come more to the fore, you know. It's great business. There's every reason to jump in. Once I met Lee and read his script, though, that was the real reason, because I knew I would be working in the hands of like a horror genius. He cooked this whole thing up. You know, he wrote all of the Insidious scripts. This is the first one he directed, but in my opinion, it was high time because he really did a great job, and I had nothing but confidence going into this project.
What was it like to work with these spirits that exist? I mean, the filming must have been very interesting. I don't know if it was green screen or wire work, or if you're just hitting imaginary things.
Yeah, for the most part in this film, and really as part of the sort of producer's approach to the movie, was to keep it all as practical as possible instead of embellishing it with visual effects and a lot of post-production. Now, obviously, there's some enhancement here and there, but really for the most part, especially the horror sequences are so almost like scientifically engineered. That was the great thing about Lee. He's a great combination of a technician at the same time that he's a loose director that works great with actors. And so for me, it was a really interesting project in that way. We knew exactly what our goal was and how to achieve it, because he knew. I just did what he said. But I'll never forget shooting some of these pieces. And they are a combination of as much as possible of practical effects and stunts, you know. This is a teenage girl who's on cables that, you know, the two stuntmen pull him through a pulley and she goes flying off of the bed, and that's just before we even get to lunchtime on one of the days. She's cast up to here. Stephanie Scott plays the lead role in the movie and just really gave it her all and centers the movie in a really, really mature way.
But the movie feels to me like you walk away believing that there could be this place called the Further.
Yeah.
Does it reconfigure things in your mind in terms of the afterlife at all?
Right. That's one of the things I loved about the other Insidious, but in particular here with Chapter 3, is you don't know these things. You leave the theater wondering, and that's a really active feeling if you're curious and seeking. So I love the way Insidious does that. It doesn't provide any answers, but you know, does Lee Whannell's vision of the afterlife actually match up to mine? Not exactly, but...
It's a pretty dark version of the afterlife.
It is, but I love that it's a consistent mythology within its own films. It's really all from one guy's imagination. And that he posits a possibility. It could be this. And you leave the theater really as much as wondering whether it could be that as hoping that it's not.
Yes.
Right.
I see her every single day. When I look at you,